Hi, my name's Katie. Today's Facebook Live is about social science. We've got the head of social science having a talk with us, and we've also got one of our current students.
Hi.
And she's going to be chatting about what it's like to be a student on the course, the kind of things you can get involved in, and just answering any of your questions that may come through. So we're just going to head into Michael Ablett's office. He's currently the head of the School of Social Science. Hello.
Hiya.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, so I'm in the School of Social Science at Liverpool Hope University, and I'm also head of the school itself.
So what kind of subjects does this involve?
So we are now one of the biggest schools in the university, so we've got a variety of what the university calls programmes, so that's if you're coming to do single subjects, and we've got a variety of majors, which other universities sometimes call joint honours, so you would do 2 majors to make up your degree. So let me talk you through some of them. In terms of the programmes, we've got programmes in social work, which is very popular. We have only 25 to 30 places on it, but about 400 people each year who apply for that. We have a programme in health and social care, very similar to social work, but doesn't bring a professional qualification, but that would be for people who want to do social work-like activities and perhaps work in the voluntary sector. We have programmes in criminology and sociology. And then we have the majors. The majors that we have are sociology, criminology, social policy, and health and well-being, and childhood and youth. So there's the 5 majors which can be done in, you can do 2 of those in our school, or you could do 1 of those with something from somebody else in the university, perhaps psychology or politics or history, for example.
And what kind of careers do people go into if they are combining those kind of subjects?
Well, it's such a broad range of subjects that it's very difficult to give you 1 or 2 jobs. But if you do criminology, for example, you'll find that some people will have a vision of going into perhaps probation work. Sociology, you'll find that people will perhaps be thinking about doing some future study, so they might be choosing to go into a master's programme in youth and community work or social work, maybe into future social research. But generally across the social science courses that we've got, you'll find that people will end up in jobs in local research, maybe working for local councils or for local NHS trusts. They will end up working in voluntary sector organisations. We have a very close relationship with PSS, which is one of the large voluntary sector organisations in Liverpool, so they're a partner of ours in the university. So large voluntary sector organisations may be doing community work, family support. PSS have a number of programmes at the present time supporting children whose dads are in prison. So that kind of area, voluntary work, healthcare, housing, local government work, and then actually you find about 60% of jobs that are for graduates are looking for people with any degree, so we'll have people who will end up in business and all sorts of manner of jobs as well. And
is there any kind of placement involved in any of those courses you mentioned before? Or?
So in terms of them all, so if we start with social work, obviously social work has a large amount of your time is in placement, so 170 days over the 3 years is in placement, 70 days in your first placement and second year, 100 in your third. Now, in terms of social work, your second placement, your 100 days, will be doing statutory work, so that's where they're using the law that social workers can use. Your first placement will be in a community placement, and kind of uniquely at Liverpool Hope, we are the only university which offers students the possibility of doing half of their first placement, so 35 days, in an overseas placement. So we have students who go to Gambia, who go to Chennai in India, and who go to Michigan in the States. And what we try to do is that if you're going to any of those placements, the kind of placement that you'll do in your first 35 days, you will then do something very similar when you come back to Liverpool. So if you're doing learning disabilities in America, you'll come back and do learning disabilities in Liverpool, and we're trying to get you to think about the different ways in which learning disabilities are considered and dealt with and supported in the 2 jurisdictions. So that's social work. Health and social care also has a compulsory placement element. You can either use your existing work, or we can help you get voluntary work, or else you can do some work, some appropriate work around the university, and that's assessed through portfolio. And then from next year, what we are going to set up in conjunction with PSS is that for all our other students, at third year level, we're going to have an option, so there'll be what's called a research seminar, so an option in third year which will be available for all our students, which will be a work-based placement. Now, we probably won't have 20 across the whole school, so it'll be competitive and it will be specific, so we'll have 20 jobs with PSS, and those that want to do that will be able to do that as part of their degree. So from next year we'll have placement opportunities for all students on all our courses in the school.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any kind of volunteering opportunities throughout the year for any of those students as well? Or?
So yes, we have our Masters in Youth and Community Work, and we have a dedicated colleague who is a trained youth and community worker. But Tracy Ramsey also teaches in undergraduate programmes, and she also spends every Tuesday at the Kensington Youth Centre. Now, Kensington is one of the poorest parts of Liverpool, and the youth centre down there, she organises community type projects that the students can engage with from the first week that they're in. Again, that's available to all our students, so if you come to do sociology, criminology or social work or social care or social policy, then you can sign up to go and do that. We also have a number of other voluntary activities. So in the last 2 years, on about 4 or 5 occasions, we have supported students who have raised money, and then they've gone over to Cali to support refugee students. We've got a summer school starting this summer in Turkey, which will take students from the school, and they'll have a week, as 10 days in Turkey, doing work with students from Turkey and Greece supporting Syrian refugees. And we also have a number of field trips which are available to all our students, and are part of a sort of educating yourself in the round. So every second year we run a trip to the Palestinian West Bank, where we live in refugee camps for 13 nights. We look at youth projects, disability projects, older people projects in the refugee camps, and try and look at the particular problems that gives. We also have a summer school between second and third year for our health and wellbeing, health and social care and social work students, and it looks at comparative mental health systems. So you spend 2 weeks in the States working in a class with American students, looking at the American mental health system, and then you and the American students come back over to Britain and do 2 weeks looking at the mental health system in Britain, and then you do an assessment at the end with your American colleagues, doing a comparison between American and British mental health systems.
Mm-hmm. That sounds really interesting. And what kind of support is available for students as well when they are on the course?
So, like Hope University as a whole, we have a variety of ways of teaching. So we do both lectures and seminars and tutorials. And the tutorials are small group sessions working with students in groups of 10 with a dedicated tutor. And that tutor will be with you throughout the 3 years. So they're there to offer you academic support, but they're also there to offer pastoral support. We are the biggest department in the university, but nevertheless we do pride ourselves in getting to know the students on each of our subjects one-to-one, so it's a very supportive atmosphere. I've worked before at what's sometimes called Post-92 University, so I used to work at UCLan in Preston, and then for 12 years I worked at the University of Liverpool, and then I've been here now for almost 10 years. And in my opinion, the support that's offered to students from staff is second to none at Liverpool Hope.
Thank you so much, Michael. I'm going to talk to one of our current students, and she's going to tell you a bit about what it's like to be a student here, her best experiences and things like that. So, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, I study social policy and criminology.
Fab. And what do you enjoy about the course currently?
I enjoy the variety of what it's offering. So at the moment in criminology, sentences for one part, and the other part is like a psychological criminology. And then in social policy, I'm currently doing about globalisation and also social work as part of my seminar.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say to students who are thinking about studying those subjects?
Look into them first, make sure it's what you want to do, quarantine. Look into future jobs, see if that's what you want to go into, and then go for it if it's what you want to do.
And have you kind of had any thoughts about what you might like to do with the course?
So I want to do a master's in nursing when I finish, but work in prison, so I'm taking the criminology side with me as well.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
So If you have any questions once the what else can be involved in the courses, things you can get involved. The next Facebook Live is going to be tomorrow at 1:30, and that's going to be on teacher education, everything to do with primary, secondary teaching, early years, and how to get involved with that. So yeah, any more questions, just let us know. Bye.